What's your status on the apparatus? DK and Puncho cancel kings, and today we're going to talk about President Obama, what appears to be him lecturing black men on voting for Kamala Harris, no matter who, vote blue. And this is a topic that's been going viral for the last day or so, and we wanted to dig into it. Why are black men so offended? You know, especially folks who are more conservative, and why isn't Kamala Harris connecting with the demographic of black men to the point where it seems like she kind of admitted, and Barack Obama, in so many words, admitted that they're having a hard time connecting with black men, unlike what happened with his presidential administration. Thoughts, DK?
I'll talk about my thoughts as we get into it, man.
You want to lead us before we get started?
Yeah, I'll lead us in prayer. Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, so Lord, we just thank you for this day, Lord. We thank you for your grace and mercy. Thank you for everyone who joined us this evening, Lord. Lord, we just ask for your wisdom, Lord, for you to speak through us, speak to us, Lord, as we discuss this. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen, amen. Guys, we are officially in overtime. So we have an illustrious panel here today. We've got Corey, DEI Hire, Day Day, Jayhawk, opinions all across the board here. And you'll be hearing them come up. If you guys want to jump in the conversation, leave a message on Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're seeing this particular session take place. If you want to jump in on the panel, you got to cam up, especially if we don't know you. Feel free also to leave your comments on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you may find us broadcasting this message. But we've got some interesting clips here, and I kind of want to jump right into it, guys. And let's talk about what's going on with the presidential election and just getting a feel for what was actually said. So let's take a look.
Sit down.
So President Obama's asking, these are actually some Kamala supporters, so it's interesting he would use this as a press moment. But he's asking these folks rhetorically, you're thinking about sitting out. And one of the gentlemen responds and says, not me. And listen to what he says after this.
Right. But, because
Pookie might be sitting it out.
And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that. Because part of it makes me think, I'm speaking to men directly, part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that. And I think anybody you are talking to in a barbershop, anybody you are talking to in your house, in your family, at church, who is coming with that kind of attitude, I think you have to ask them, well, how can that be? Because the women in our lives have been getting our backs this entire time.
Then he goes in and talk about, how women have supported black men during various issues and protests and things of that nature. But when you hear that kind of discussion, guys, when President Obama is saying you need to really seriously look at people that go to your church, you hear somebody in the barber shop, another brother that says that they disagree with some of the policies of Kamala Harris. And we're going to start it out with you, Jayhawk. What goes through your mind when you hear that you may lose your black card if you say something wrong?
I mean, it doesn't. I'm an individual, so it doesn't. It just bothers me that someone is trying to make people choose, a position over identity. It's basically linked to identity. Because if you would, situation, and change the races of the people involved, that would never fly. That would never happen. It would be, it'd be a media storm if it was the other way around.
So you're saying if
Black
Barack
woman,
Obama was
vote for.
go ahead.
No, no. I'm just saying, reverse the situation. Just reverse the races of everybody, and say it was a white man saying, I can't believe you're the people at your barbershop vote for a black woman. That's crazy. Why are we voting for a black woman? You should be voting for this white man. What are you doing? If that was the argument made from the other side,
Yeah,
it'd be it'd be a firestorm. You never hear that, never. So for him to say that, nobody puts it in perspective. Well, we're putting it in perspective, but a lot of times it's just nobody talks about it. So I'm glad we're talking about it. But how it made me feel? It made me feel any type of way because I know it's propaganda. I look at it as propaganda.
Propaganda.
So.
Let's roll it over to you, Corey, and then we'll go to Day and DEI hire. Do you feel any offense to this, or maybe the president has a legit gripe with black men?
Me personally, no, I don't hold offense to it because I don't think that message was meant for me. That message was meant for whoever it was meant for, and then if you are offended by it, then I guess it hit the target. I look at it as him having a conversation specifically with men, black men, and we talk about how we don't have leaders amongst the community, and it sounds like he's trying to hold them accountable.
He's trying to hold the leaders accountable, or he's trying to hold the black men accountable now that we have a quote unquote black leader.
And I'm not going to say that he is the quote unquote black leader amongst the black community, but we talk about how we don't have somebody that steps up and somebody that's that leadership figure. He's as close to that in the black community, I would argue.
So he has an authority, an unspoken authority to speak to black men like this. Is that what you're saying?
Right. And if if black men in particular are talking about sitting out this election, I guess he found it incumbent of himself to hold them accountable. It's too much at risk to throw your hands up and just sit at home.
But DK, I want to pass it to you too. Is it more or less what Corey is saying, that there's so much at risk, we need someone to kind of energize us? Or is it, why aren't you just energizing us in general to vote?
Yeah, like that's my issue. You know what I mean? I think that, when it comes to voting, that you should just be energizing us to vote, not energizing us to vote for a particular person. Or, the comment that really bothered me was it said it's unacceptable for any black man to vote for Trump or not to vote at all. So for me, that really turns me off. You know what I mean? And I like Obama. You know what I mean? So and I voted for Obama. I've said that plenty of times on here, but I didn't vote. I voted for him because he was the best person for the job at that time. So I didn't vote for him necessarily because he was black. You know what I mean? And I don't feel like I should be pressured into voting for Kamala because she says she's black. And even if she was black, you know what I mean? I don't think that I should be, pressured into doing that. I don't mind being pressured to vote because I believe that every vote counts. But in America, we had the freedom to vote for who we choose to, and we shouldn't be ridiculed on who we decide to vote for because that's our choice. You know what I mean? So
it kind of reminds me of Joe Biden, who did the same thing. Go ahead, Jay.
Well, I was just saying, in this case, DK, it was more. I think there were both. There was both race and sex injected into what he was saying. Kind of like what Corey said about holding men accountable. What Obama said was that men are making excuses and giving excuses is why we're not either voting or. And he said he thinks that's the real reason is because we don't want a woman to be our leader. He's telling us why we're not doing it. He said in his statement that I think what it is for most of you is you're That's not the issue at all. That's not the issue at all. So it kind of, just like DK said, it upsets me that he's telling me how to think. He's telling me why I'm deciding what I'm deciding. And I think that's unacceptable.
Well, let's go to that portion of the conversation, because he doesn't, and this is, and I'm trying to be non-biased here, but he doesn't say that these policies are best for you. He says that if you're voting for Trump, you're voting for a man who hates black people or severely dislikes black people. And if you don't vote for Harris, it's not because she's falling short as a candidate. It's because she's a woman. And let's take a look at that and hear it in living color.
They've been raising us and working and having our backs. And when we get in trouble and the system's not working for us, they're the ones who are out there marching and protesting.
Basically, the argument that your mama's black.
And so now,
hold on,
you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength, because that's what being a man is.
I think he mentioned it earlier too, but go ahead.
But real quick, because this is bothering me. So yes, of course, my wife is my backbone. My wife pushes me to be all that I can be in every step of the way. So do I have a problem with a woman pushing me? No, of course not. You know what I mean? But I feel like when we're just talking about a good leader, right? And to me, she just hasn't proven anything that says, hey, she can be a good leader. You know what I mean? And people could say what they want about Trump. And do I like the way that he talks all the time? No. Does he seem mean? Does he say stupid stuff? All of the above. All of the above. But when we talk about doing what's right for the country, we talk about, even let's forget the country, let's just talk about a leader. You don't always like your leader. You know what I mean? You don't always like the person who's in charge, but that doesn't mean they can't do a good job. They might say things that seem rough. They might say things that doesn't feel comfortable, but that's what a good leader does sometimes. Sometimes you gotta say the hard stuff. Sometimes you gotta put people in your place who's underneath you. Sometimes you have to do that. And people are getting so upset about that. But that's to me, that's a good leader. I don't understand what's wrong with that.
Anybody else got something they want to add to it? Day DEI hire.
I agree with what DK is saying, right? As far as the leader being that person that maybe is not your friend, maybe the person that keeps it raw and keeps it real when it needs to be. But I don't see that in Donald Trump. I don't see that. It's his character that kind of throws it off for a lot of people. And that's not to say that everything that he does is wrong, but he has too many character flaws for a lot of people, and that overrides a lot of things.
Day DEI hire. Any thoughts on that? Okay, we got another clip here too. Oh, go ahead, DEI hire.
Okay. I think
you got it, DEI.
I just want to mention it. It sounds like President Obama just is illustrating a whole lot of frustration, and I think it almost like he just realized at that moment that the energy is not in the community like it was for him, regardless of character. And I think he's frustrated with that. But people are no longer, they're stepping beyond the peer pressure of just doing as is or as told to becoming more informed and maybe voting for the better person, whoever that may be in your mind, whether you're going to go with character flaws and feelings or actually go with policy and trying to do right by everybody.
Yeah, hold on real quick. You know what's so funny when you're saying that? You know what? All I could think of was Eddie Griffin, and maybe he said it the best, right? So Eddie Griffin, he was doing stand-up comedy. He says, he's like, we vote for Obama just because he's black, right? Because we're gonna get the first one in. You know what I mean? Just because. Then after that, After that, then we'll look and see. You know what I mean? We'll try to get the right person in, but we just vote for Obama, period, just because they said different language. I didn't want to go through all the language, but what I'm saying is but maybe that's true. Maybe we did just get Obama in. And not saying that Obama was a good one.
That was real for Obama one when he ran the first time, but then he actually proved himself, did some good deeds. And then the second time it was across the board.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, but now when it comes to Harris, I think that a lot of the Democratic Party is trying to play this that, hey, we got another one. Let's get her in. You know what I mean? Hey, she's black. Let's get her in. And I'm not cool with that. You know what I mean? It was cool the first time, but if she's the right person, that's fine. But don't make me vote for her just because of that she's black or that she's a woman. You know what I mean? Don't make us do that. That's what I'm saying.
Now, President Obama saying
one more thing.
Mm-hmm.
If she was a real person, he wouldn't have to come out and present herself like this. That's just look through the curtain there.
Well, what's happening is we're finding that even though Kamala Harris is doing more press, mostly liberal media, she hasn't talked to anyone conservative yet, or of that nature. She hasn't had anyone push back on her in a strong way. She's not gaining in the polls, and Donald Trump is gaining in the polls. And the elephant in the room, we're seeing a lot of people from not only the black male community, but the men community in general that are saying, hey, this just isn't working out for us. So the natural inclination is, well, maybe they're sexist because black men ain't running with her as much and white men aren't running with her as much. Maybe men are just sexist and they want to see women, down. And that's where we kind of get to the conversation of, where maybe why President Obama is saying that you guys are being sexist and you don't want to vote for a woman. So I want to pose that question. Are you guys willing to vote for a woman, starting with you, DK, Corey, Jayhawk, and DEI Hire?
I didn't vote for Hillary. You know what I mean? And if I'm just being honest, I mean, I can be honest.
Okay.
I think.
So would you consider yourself sexist when it comes to voting? He's starting to sweat a little bit.
Not that I consider myself sexist. I just I've always, this is how I always believed in. And you could talk to my wife and other people. I just think that when you talk about putting women in leadership, right, that there's an issue that comes with it, right? And this is just like when I think about like the majority of people. Of course, there's outliners on everything, but usually, you see women make more decisions by emotions and men make more logical decisions. So when I think about a leader, especially a leader of the most powerful country in the world, I want someone who's going to sit and make a logical decision over an emotional decision. And not saying that men don't make emotional decisions. I just think that women make more emotional decisions. And that's fine because I think God gave them more like a spirit to nurture. You know what I mean? And I think that to me, that's just what it is. And I don't think that I don't have an issue with that. I think that's how they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be more nurturing. You know what I mean? I think God put a lot on us to be leaders of our household. So when I look at someone who's leading the country, I look at them as a leader of the household of our country. You know what I mean? So to me, I feel like it should be, it should be a man. Not that I'm sexist, you know what I mean? Because I have great women in my life, great black women who have affected me, made me who I am. You know what I mean? So I'm not sexist. I just think that, when it comes to that. And I think all of these strong Black women that are in my life would agree with that. You know what I mean? I don't think that I'm
Hey,
saying anything that they wouldn't agree with.
Well, so
hey,
because I think about
I think
Mhm.
well, I say every great woman, every strong. Let me back up. Every strong woman isn't a great leader. You can be a great woman and not be. Just as some of you guys that were in the military and different paramilitary organizations that have women involved, that are co-ed. I know strong women that have been respect for them just like I have respect for males that were in leadership roles, and I know women that were put in leadership roles that shouldn't have been put there, and I can recognize what that looks like. And just like women, I know strong men that were leaders shouldn't have been put there, and I can recognize that because my adult life I've been in those type of organizations, just like some of you guys, like I mentioned. So I think it's easy to recognize. And to me, even though Kamala might be some people call her a great woman, I don't see her as a strong leader. She doesn't come across as a strong leader.
Mm. But would you
And
vote for a
it's gonna be
woman?
hard. I would vote for a woman if I thought she was a strong leader.
Because
For
I think
me,
about
you have to
Margaret
get a lot of people.
Thatcher.
You have to get 300 million people to follow you. So you have to be a leader of 300 million people that trust you, that trust your judgment, and are willing to basically go to war. I don't feel like she has that.
Because I think about Margaret Thatcher, I think about Angela Merkel, who have been decent leaders for their own countries. And even being in the military, I've had female supervisors and things of that nature. So I don't have a problem with female leadership. And going to you, Corey, what are your thoughts? Could you see yourself voting for a woman?
I agree with what everybody else is saying. Yes, I could see myself voting for a woman in a leadership position. Again, coming from the military, I've had women commanders and supervisors, and women have passed Ranger School and Fields Bug Test, and you've got women that are CEOs of Fortune 500 companies and have led the companies to success. So, can a woman do the job of leading a country? Yes. Does Harris display all of those leadership characteristics? I don't think so. Just being honest, I don't think she does.
Well, I gave the other two guys a little pushback, but I want to give you a little pushback too. President Biden chose her specifically because she's a Black woman, not because of competence. It wasn't a meritocracy. It was mostly a DEI hire. If I
Right.
can steal your name down there, DEI. He specifically chose her because she was a Black woman. Is that a little bit troubling for you? And now she's running for president?
Well, he chose her as the vice president. No.
Right. He specifically said he was pushed and lobbied and said, and people said that I'm not going to, well, a lot of the lobbies were Black women that said that if you don't choose a Black woman, we're not voting for you. Because remember, Kamala Harris said that Joe Biden was an unrepentant racist during the campaign. And his response to all that was, I will choose a Black woman for my vice president, not a competent person. Fast forward to now, how does that play out? Is it the best person or is it a Black woman that we're voting for?
I think if we would have had a real primary, I don't think she would have been the candidate amongst Democrats. Because I think there are other Democrats that would have beat her out. But
yeah, I agree.
Given the circumstances and where we are today, and we know how it played out, this is what we have to deal with.
Anything better than Trump is what you're saying.
I think a lot of people are voting for Harris because they don't like Trump, not necessarily because they like her or they feel like she's the best candidate, but it's better than voting for Trump.
DEI hire. What say you?
I have no issue voting for a woman. I have voted for a woman. Women, actually. On the local level, I even went out and got them on a petition so they could run for local office. I
So you don't
strongly
have a
supported
problem
a
with it?
state rep up until this point that she's now currently running for sentence. Her state senate in Pennsylvania. I am not voting for her this time because she has failed to meet benchmarks such as establishing a minimum wage and reducing the state budget. So she failed already in office. But I gave her a shot. So no, I do not have an issue voting for a woman.
So
They
so we
present themselves as a quality leader. And for Kamala, it's a no-go for me. And I'll say this again and again. She was appointed. There was no democratic process to allow her to achieve the opportunity that she's requesting from voters. Until
Interesting.
you educate yourself on civics, how the system should work, you're a pawn. You're being controlled. So you should vote against her just because they're violating you as a citizen. Period.
So you saying off of principle because she wasn't democratically elected anywhere.
Hey, real quick, Punch. Reese wants to answer that question too.
Okay.
As far as voting for a woman,
Yeah, would you vote for a woman?
Since Kamala, like she kind of like talked about her family upbringing, how she doing things that she's doing, do all her situations being in power or in control. My mother was the same daggone thing, man. And basically, man, I would say my mother got it done. I'm still here today, 67 years later. And
So-
sure, I would vote for a woman. If
So
she
you're
could do a
saying
better-
that you're
she could do a better job than what the men's been doing. And I'm not
so
saying
your
that,
mother
I'm saying,
grew up in Canada and
You know, I'm
immigrated
not.
to
When we
San
talking about
Francisco?
Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, North Philly. Okay, we're not talking about Canada, somewhere I ain't never been to in my life.
Oh, okay. Well, you mean the middle class lifestyle Kamala had? That's what
Exactly.
you're saying?
And my mother came through, and I'm here today
Hey.
to witness it.
Interesting.
Puncho, that might be a good segue into that one part of Obama's talk where he talks about her high school and college, and it was actually the last clip you played.
Yeah, I'll pull that up. But you're right. He does try to make that connection that she is like us. She's one of us. She went to an HBCU. There's no difference between Kamala Harris and the average Black experience. And Obama says that to make a connection, between black male voters. I think that's a little bit.
Yeah, I got a question though. Just for everybody, whoever wants to answer. I know you guys were saying you guys had, women as, commanding officers, I guess, in the military. I didn't in the military, just happenstance, no direct commanding officer. But I did have women at, maybe when I worked at Amazon, this and that. But what I always notice, like I said, even like my wife she's an excellent leader when it comes to, motivating people. I mean, she gets the job done.
Right,
But
right.
but for me, but when it comes to like some decision makers, like I know that I have to make a decision on logic. And I know I can't let my emotions, okay, this person comes to work every day, this and that, but he doesn't show up at when we have whatever social events. I'm fine with that. I don't need you to, if you're working for me and you're doing the job, and just because you don't want to be social, I'm fine with that as long as you're doing your job. You know what I mean? But I'm saying a lot of times, like when I see, at least with her, and like I said, she's a very good leader. But when it comes to like things like that, I feel like she feels a certain type of way about the person. I'm like, no, I don't care if they don't need to be our friends. If they are doing the job, then they just do the job. That's all I want you to do.
Well, President
what I mean?
Obama would disagree with you. This is what he says about her past cultural experience that we should connect with.
Grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences.
Do you guys feel that Kamala Harris understands the Black experience? I'll start out with an interesting observation from DEI Hire. Do you think that Kamala Harris understands the Black experience? Anytime you're ready, bro.
No, it's silly. It's silly.
Sorry,
Go
got
ahead.
me making. I'm making dinner. I'm making dinner. So anyway, no, I don't think she knows.
Well,
Because if
I
she
don't
did,
want to pull my
she
clip
would
out.
explain herself a little better.
I don't want to pull out my collard greens clip, and I'm not gonna lie, that had me laughing for days.
That's a southern thing, and that's more of a southern poor thing than a. We just associate that with the black community.
Well, it is a black thing too,
It's
right?
more
Because black people.
it's more prevalent. It's more prevalent down there, but I think that was a reach if you had to do that.
Well,
It
she
wasn't
said
genuine.
that she cleans her collard greens in the bathtub, and I'm not gonna lie, y'all. When she said that, I'm like, this woman is not black. Ain't no way on this side of heaven that this woman is black if she's washing collard greens in the bathtub. Sorry. And we had some folks on the panel last time that tried to. Well, they did wash collard greens in a wash tub, but did you also wash your body in that wash tub? A lot of reaching to make this woman a part of the black cultural experience. And I think that's also one thing that black men are not buying. I think a lot of black men are saying, just stop talking about you being black and your black experience. Maybe President Obama shouldn't talk about her black experience. And he was very careful with that. And just tell us about her policies. Get away from color, because she's not going to win that argument with the black card thing. For some people, as long as she looked like, Auntie Julia, that's all that matters. But for a lot of folks, it's like when she starts scratching the surface, she's from Canada, by way of Jamaica, by way of India, and slave plantation owners. It's not a black experience. Then coming to California, not having any black friends. Come on, y'all. Anyway.
Yeah, and Jimmy, I know you got some fire for this, but for me, you know what I mean, when it comes to the black experience, every black experience is different. You know what I mean?
But there's a
And
culture that we can loosely connect with, right? Or we wouldn't have black culture.
yeah, but
We
but
wouldn't all know each other somehow if it weren't for culture.
right? Do you think? And I don't know the numbers, but do you think that more black people went to HBCUs or
I get what you're saying.
regular colleges? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Well, even most black men have not went to college. More black women have attended college than black men.
but is
Black
it
men tend to
HBC?
do.
But
Even
is it
HBCUs are
HBCU?
even more rare. So that's not the epitome of a black experience. And
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. But that's what President Obama's equating her blackness to, in addition to some other things that are kind of disparate, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, was she in the military? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of black females, black males who went in the military. You know what I mean? We all had, different experiences growing up. You know what I mean? We were in Harrisburg, you were in Mansfield. Maybe they're similar, maybe they're not. You know what I mean? But until you lived it, you don't know. I'm saying we all have different experiences, and I don't agree with that. That's all.
Well, CNN caught hold of this volatile conversation, and this actual topic is going viral. And one of the pundits on the CNN panel had some very powerful things to say. So let's give her a shot. And she kind of breaks it down from her experience of knowing and dealing with black men.
And by the way, Governor Walz, according to Politico, is going to be going out on a mentor, literally a tour of media to appeal to men.
They need to appeal to the needs of the voters. And so when I was a delegate for President Obama in both of his elections in Ohio, right now the vice president is down 11 points in Ohio, even though I fully expect President Trump to take Ohio as he did twice, but to be down 11 points compared to President Biden, that is a problem. But this other issue I want to bring up is a problem too. Why are black men being lectured to? Why are black men being belittled in ways that no other voting group? Now, a lot of love for former President.
And this is what you were saying too, Jimmy. This is a legit argument, and black men are like, why do we have to be punching bags to vote for someone and we're not getting a full picture?
Obama. But for him to single out Black men is wrong. And some of the Black men that I have talked to have their reasons why they want to vote a different way. And even if some of us may not like that, we have to respect it. So unless President Barack Obama is going to go out and lecture every other group of men from other identity groups, my message for Democrats is don't bring it here to Black men who, by and large, don't vote much differently from Black women. And what, as a politician, we should be trying to get all voters to vote. And hopefully there are a few good men out there who do care about the stripping away of some of women's bodily autonomy. But this is wrong for President Obama. It is a wrong course for the Harris-Walz campaign to lay at the feet of Black men when they have their reasons. In 2020, the vice president was labeled a cop, as we know.
And then they cut her off when she starts getting into the reasons, which is probably the most interesting part of the conversation. DK, I want everybody to give me 2 reasons why their friends have reasons to not vote for Kamala Harris.
Oh,
To not vote?
yeah. I mean, for me, a lot of my friends are voting, for Kamala. And no matter what
Those who are not voting for her, what are 2 reasons why? Because
why they're not?
She's saying they're being berated for not voting, even though they have reasons. What are those reasons?
The reason why they're not voting for her?
Correct.
Oh, easy for me. That my friends say who aren't voting for her is really like, she has no policies, and the policies that she's saying are really come from really from the Trump from the Trump campaign. Like, like she's just stealing pieces of his things, because basically she's
Give me
not
an example.
Okay, so example. So like when it comes to with tips, right? Of course Trump comes in, he says, "Hey, we're going to do, no tips on,
Taxes on tips.
no taxes on tips." Yeah, sorry. And then now, of course, now she's doing it. Now she wants to be harder on the border, right? But the whole time when she was vice president, and that's her job as a as a border czar, whatever you want to call it, she's not tough on it at all. So basically you're just trying, really, to me, you're just trying to trick us to steal votes. So for me, it's a bunch of fabrication and a bunch of lies that the Democrats party are trying to feed. And maybe it's not her. I just think maybe it's just the party itself is just trying to trick us for some reason, instead of, whatever you stand on. If you stand on, killing babies at 9 months, to stand on that. Don't try to, sugarcoat it. Whatever you stand and let us choose. That's all I'm saying.
Corey, President Obama says that there's no good reason for Black men to vote for Donald Trump. And this woman is saying that she knows Black men that have good reasons. Your friends in your circle of Black men, what are their, give me 2 good reasons why they are not voting for, Kamala Harris.
In my personal circle, I don't know of anybody that is not planning on voting for her. In my professional circle, I have a multitude of people that plan on not voting.
So the people that got jobs don't want to vote for her.
But what's been expressed to me, it seems like a lot of it is they just don't agree with her policies.
Give me an example. I know you hear this at least once a week.
Yeah.
Because we're being told that they're not valid reasons.
No. So she has policies, right? I mean, you can just go to her campaign page and it'll lay out what her policies are. Now, whether you choose to not agree with them or not is a totally different argument. But she has policies. And the associates that I work with that don't plan on voting for her, a lot of them are Republicans. So obviously they don't agree with
Black Republicans. The fabled Black Republican does exist.
Yeah. So this isn't a uprising of Democrats that I work with that are not voting for her. They're just Republicans that.
What are they saying?
They just don't agree with her policies.
They just don't like her, so they just won't vote for her. No logic. And as far as we know, they could just not like women. That's what you're saying.
There could be other things, but a lot of it just falls on the policies, right?
Probably with the child deletion policy,
Right.
the LGBTQIA plus policies,
the border stuff, the economy, basically the yin and the yang, right? Republicans over here
versus Democrat. Typical arguments.
The typical arguments. So
okay. Jayhawk, your circle. Why are they not voting for Kamala Harris? People are saying, to include President Obama, that there are no valid reasons why anyone wouldn't vote for her. What are those supposed valid reasons?
There's a lot of reasons. It's kind of divided with my friend circle as well. It's about 50-50, but it started before she even started talking about policies. It was more just authenticity. People feeling like they're being lied to. The track record for the last, for the time that they were in office now, they don't see anything different coming in the next, with another 4 years. They just feel like it'd be the same. So that's most,
okay.
or people talk about the most, I should say.
All right. DEI hire. What are you hearing in your circle as the two reasons why the votes just aren't coming in for Kamala?
Well, the good news is I don't have a circle. If I do, it's very small. But I want everybody to feel good. So you should feel good with whatever direction you want to go in.
Oh, here we go. DEI. He's playing.
We're gonna make things better.
Right. I can hear the sarcasm.
So yeah, you're good. You're good. So that's probably reason one.
They want to feel.
Not authentic.
They don't want to feel good.
No policy.
No policy.
Just a whole bunch of general statements with no actual direction of what road you're going to travel to get there. There is a sentiment that if you talk to your peer group one-on-one, they will hint that there is some friction between the fact that she's just a woman.
She's what? Just a woman?
But that won't be announced in a larger circle. So there is that sentiment going around. So yes, that does exist. But I think the big thing is, and confirming what the others have already said, and whether she's posting a policy, she's not delivering it or giving me the microwave version that I need to hear in a 30-second commercial. I don't need to feel good. I need my life to be better.
I remember somebody. I want to throw mine in too, DK. But if you want to throw something in real quick.
No, yeah, just real quick. You know what I mean? And I have seen some of her policies, and like they are on the website. You're right, and I've seen some of them, but a lot of them seem just unattainable, right? So, and I'm just giving you an example. This is like a hypothetical. She says, "Hey, if I win, I'm gonna give everybody $1 million if the Congress passes it." I didn't say that. No, I'm not saying she said that. But what I'm saying is, you could say
it's not gonna happen.
Yeah. So I'm saying you could say whatever you want to say, knowing that there's no possibility of this happening. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of her policies are full of these things, like, hey, we're gonna give $50,000 to okay, I got you. $50,000 to whatever business owners at tax breaks. But what's the real take on that?
Tax credit.
Yeah. I mean, how does that really work? It sounds good just to say it, but but to be honest, what does it really look like? You know what I mean? And it looks like it's not going to get passed if she would win.
Somebody has to pass those laws.
So people are saying that they're wanting her to break down exactly how she's going to implement the policies, in addition to telling you what the policies are.
No, it's not that. I'm just saying. I just think when she's saying a policy, right? I just think that she has no thought of. I think she knows that. Hey, this probably won't work, but it sounds good. Like that's what I feel about her policies.
Just be exact with it. The $50,000 tax credit start. It doesn't even make sense. You can't start a business with a tax credit. So that's not even going to go.
You got to spend $50,000 first.
It's not possible anyways. The thing is, it's not.
Let me throw something in real quick.
We can't we can't afford that. Go ahead.
I'm a business owner. I have a few businesses. I'm a veteran. I'm a minority, 8A status, for folks who knows what that means. Both administrations, Obama,
Three things.
Trump, even Biden's administration, I have never got a single penny from the U.S. government through the Small Business Administration or otherwise. Not even a grant. And I have vigilantly applied for these things. SBA, I have only been given the runaround, VIP program, everything. And I'm a disabled veteran. So maybe Kamala has something new that she can do. But I don't believe, and this is me, I'm jaded with this because I've tried under 3 different administrations, going on 4 now, if she wins. I ain't never got a penny from the government. And most people I know have never gotten money. Some of the people on this podcast I've started businesses with, and we weren't able to get any money from the government when we started our businesses. And to me, it's a red herring for any administration, so I don't know. And I want to also get back to what my friends are saying once Jimmy gets his stuff in there. Go ahead, Jimmy.
No, I was raising my hand to say, just like you, I'm a minority business owner, veteran, all the, check all the boxes. $100 PPP loan.
Oh, I did get a
COVID.
PPP loan. I got $2,000 for that, and I paid it back like 3 months later. I did get a PPP loan.
I got denied in the infancy of my business for $7,500. So like you said, I never won anything from the government anyways. But I said, I'll try it, and I did it.
So what are we talking about here, right? Is the business credit, right? Does it just not exist?
No, it doesn't. What happens is
it's not. It would never happen. It would never happen.
Well, what happens is, and maybe someone in the comments can articulate this better than me. They allot a lot of that money over to banks through a loaning process. I've sat down and talked to loan officers. They pretty much, at the end of the day, they only want to loan or give money to people who are already successful. But when the last person a bank is trying to give money to is a company that's just starting out. The red tape, the hoops you have to jump through, the impracticality of trying to do that is a Herculean effort. Like I said, I've never gotten money from any startup that I've ever done, So like I said, the PPP loan did come out. I got immediately approved for that, and they weren't even watching for me paying for it, but I paid it back. So I don't know. So when I hear another candidate saying they're going to give small businesses money, and she says it has to be a new business, it makes me a little bit suspicious. But I wanted also to talk about.
But it's not real quick. It's not money. It's a tax credit.
Credit, yeah.
So you don't see it. It doesn't help you start the business.
You're breaking up a little, Jimmy. You might have to get closer to your mic.
You just don't have to pay the tax.
But it's not $50,000. Right. It's not $50,000 to help you buy, to help you start your business. It's $50,000 at the end of the first year.
Right.
You have to spend that money first.
Just one other thing, exactly, and the $25,000 first-time home buyers. That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
because
that's
all they're going to do
scam.
is throw it on the price of the house. Yeah, so it's so take and flush down the toilet because they don't even make sense.
If you're a realtor and you know that couples have access to $25,000, somehow that house is magically going to be $25,000 more expensive. I went in to buy a Tesla recently, guys, and there's a $7,500 tax credit, or not a tax credit, but I think it's like a federal credit.
Tax credit.
You going to tell me Tesla hasn't baked that already into their pricing scheme?
It's on their website.
Yeah. So they're giving people a $7,500 credit, but that car may also be $7,500 more expensive, or at least $2,000 or $3,000. So there's a little game being played, and when you're given a tax credit, somebody also usually has to pay for that, which means if I'm using that Tesla tax credit or that credit in general, the U.S. government is paying Tesla the difference because it's an EV vehicle and they want to stimulate EV growth. So we got to be very careful. Now, does it benefit people? When it came to the Tesla credit, spoiler alert, I got a Tesla and it's going to be cheaper. But for the government, they still have to pay for that through taxpayer dollars. You guys are paying for my Tesla, at least in part.
So
Thank you very much.
all politicians do this, right? So she's
Which is fine.
carrot, right? Put
Mhm.
the carrot out there. How I'm going to make this happen, I don't know, but it sounds good, and I'm going to get votes. Trump did the same thing. I'm going to build a beautiful wall, and Mexico's going to
Mexico's going to pay for that wall.
right? And who ends up paying for it? Me. Our tax dollars. Mexico paid for none of it, right? And that's just one example. So it's all politicians do this, right? You just put the stuff out there and it sounds good. And some things you're actually able to implement, and a lot of it you're not.
Guys, like the
But
video,
Corey,
share.
but real quick. Can I jump in this? 9 years ago, in 2015, when Donald Trump was at that debate, and he mentioned building the wall, immigration's an issue. We need to stop all these rapists, these murderers, and he was crazy.
No, I'm not
So
saying.
yeah, so at this point, if I'm paying for the wall, I'm okay paying for the wall. Pay for myself to keep them out.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
And that's a good segue into what my friends are saying. Of course, the vast majority are Democrats, so whatever goes is with them. I'm not a Democrat, Republican, or independent, by the way, but the vast majority have very big issues with the alphabet, LGBTQIA plus community. They feel that there is a big issue with the openness to transing children, to making that the processes for doing that a little bit more easier for people, the lack of moral pushback, the fact that Kamala Harris is not a Christian. She has never professed to be a Christian as far as a born again Christian, and does not seem to really have a Christian background. We've never heard her talk about Christ at all. In addition to that, people have been very cautious about her lack of interest in putting out policy, even though she seemed to be doing better according to what Corey has just reported to us. And also avoiding the media has been a big thing. Also, seems to be a little bit uncomfortable on camera when it comes down to getting easy questions. So what's going to happen when she has to stand face to face with a Vladimir Putin, or Zhang Piang, or whoever the case may be, Xi Jinping, whatever his guy's name is. There's a lot of concern that it may go good with liberal media, but it may not go good with people who want us dead. And of course, the big thing is the border. I do not believe, personally, I agree with my friends, I don't think that she cares one bit about those people coming across the border, to include Tim Walz. We have like 10 to 15 million illegal immigrants. That's the entire population of Democratic Republic coming into our country in like a 2 or 3 year period, guys. That's crazy. That's crazy. And we don't know who these people are. And not only are my friends upset about that, I'm from Ohio, Springfield. I called my buddies and like, hey, is this really happening in Springfield? Not talking about eating cats and dogs, but they definitely eating geese over there. So you have that issue going on. But the fact that the migrants and the Haitians who are coming there, they're coming here legally. But there still is this resentment in a town of 30 to 40,000 people, getting 20,000 people who have not been acclimated to American life and can't even speak the language. Now they got driver's license and they're running over trash cans and killing people driving. So there is a lot of issues. And these are from Black people that are saying this, Black men that are like, hey, I don't know what's going on, but there's a problem here. One of my cousins, a barber, was telling us about this. So those are just a handful of issues.
The Haitians, what's their dominant religion?
Well, most Haitians would consider themselves to be Christian in general, but there is a lot of Christian mysticism that comes with voodoo too. When I was there doing mission trips to Haiti, they knew that our compound was a Christian compound, and the witch doctors would chant at night and march around pronouncing curses on us while we were there. That ain't happening in New Jersey.
Did they do any sacrifices or anything when you guys were there?
God knows what they were doing out there. We just know that we heard drums at night, and that's what was going on. It was a spiritual protest about us being there, helping the children and the people of the community.
Yeah.
In the name
But I
of
know
Jesus.
with voodoo, but with voodoo comes sacrifices of
Well,
different sorts.
there is in every religion.
So
Go ahead.
when we talk about the eating of dogs and cats, I don't think they were being eaten, but all kinds of different animals being sacrificed because they have daily sacrificial ceremonies.
Well, that may
in
happen.
voodoo.
That may happen.
The pigeons, the geese, or whatever, it was happening.
No,
So
they're
the thing
eating
is,
the geese.
there's
They're
no-
eating the
there's-
geese.
Well,
They're eating the geese and
Like that-
slaughtering them. You don't. They're living. A lot of the Haitian refugees, or not, I guess you can call them refugees. Some of them are displaced along the cisterns and also the dams and things like that, and they're just taking the geese out of the local area. You know, they're not afraid of people. The geese around where I live at, they'll walk right in front of you. They're just taking the geese and they're eating them. In my opinion, that's what it seems like, because they're slaughtering them according to what I've seen in video. They're slaughtering them on the spot. If you're doing a sacrifice, it's a little bit more elaborate. You're not going to do a sacrifice right there on the spot and clean and field dress an animal. If that makes sense. It's crazy we're even talking
what I'm
about
saying
that.
is, I think there might be a cultural divide or whatever you want to call it, but that may be part of the issue. But it's just it's things just you get that headline. It's always the headline. There's never a deep dive, especially in deeper dive. But then you have to watch what you don't know what you can trust. But with just the media in general, we never get a deep dive. We get headlines. We get scratch the surface. It just gives us a little bit of information, and we don't have good context with that either. So, like with the animals in Springfield, there probably is some truth to it. There probably is something, but
you want to see the evidence, right?
It made me a little deeper dive. Yeah. So,
but at the end of the day, it's going to be a little bit of a shock for any community and those who are ingressing to that community of 30, 40,000 people, and now you have 15 to 20 people from a different country, different language. Someone can't even speak English. That's going to be tough. Now, I don't have a problem with those Haitians being there. They came through the system legally, but it's just another issue that when people see it in one dimension, these migrants are invading, small town USA. When you hear about Springfield, The Simpsons, that's based off of Springfield, Ohio, plus a little bit of imagination. So this is small town USA. And you see the same things in Aurora, Colorado, where the apartment building was taken over by the Venezuelans and the Venezuelan gangs, and the resources in New York, where a lot of the immigrants from different parts of Latin America and all over the world, some of them are flying from China to Mexico, Middle Eastern countries and African countries, flying into Mexico and walking across the border. And now you have some of the Latin community, they're living off the government's dime in 5-star hotels, receiving room service every day. And then a lot of my friends, for example, are seeing what's happening with these hurricanes, and they only get $750. It's driving people crazy. It's driving people crazy. And I think that's one big reason why a lot of Black men are like, they're pushing us to the back of the line. A lot of these resources should have been for our communities, our community outreach programs. Our community centers are being used to house refugees now. Police stations were being used for the same thing, and those were illegal aliens. So now you can't go to the local, we used to call it the friendly house. You can't go there because illegal aliens are staying there, and that really rubs people the wrong way. And I think that Kamala Harris, and in my opinion of her, in my heart of hearts, I don't think she cares about that. I think that she feels that that's the kind of country we should be.
Yeah, and Punch,
not the bad stuff that comes with it, but I think she legitimately believes that immigration should be something that should be a right for all people.
No, I get you, man. But see, like, my issue is, you asked like what my friends think, you know what I mean? So I kind of gave that. But like for me, some issues that I have personally with her, you know what I mean? And even man or woman, I'm just looking at the issues, and this is my personal feeling. So this is true to me, you know what I mean? I just think she's inconsistent on key issues, right? Like criminal justice, healthcare, you know what I mean? She changes positions depending on the political climate, you know what I mean? plus her handling when it comes, like we talk about the border. You know what I mean? Just been a mess, right? And despite being tasked with it, you know what I mean? She's not even trying to fix it. There's been no real improvement on it. This was your job, and you didn't do anything for it.
That
And
does
then,
and I think that's why she's losing a lot of guys. Go ahead, DK. I'm sorry. It's just
no, and also like I'm worried about, her lack of significant experience, right? Especially when you consider the role that she might need to be in. You know what I mean? Her public speaking isn't great. You know what I mean? Sometimes it feels like she struggles. You know what I mean? To me personally, it feels like she struggles to deliver a clear message, right? And on top of that, right, her support for like super progressive policies, right? Like the Green New Deal. You know what I mean? It can really hurt the economy. Like these are the issues that I have with the candidate. You know what I mean? Black, white, woman, man. Those are issues that I have with it.
Well, there were some other black men that had a very vitriol reaction to what President Obama said. Let's tap in with them and see what their concerns were. This is from a collage from the Megyn Kelly show.
Know about y'all, but I think that my ancestors fought far too hard for my right to vote in this country for me to support someone just because they look like me. Especially when that person who looks like me doesn't give a damn about me. She doesn't create a single job. She is actually probably uniquely terrible at her job.
With like the brothers.
He kind of tugged his own.
With the brothers. We ain't your brother. Brother.
In that room, did it seem like he said anything that could get them to change their mind?
Boy, if any black men are at a Kamala Harris rally, their mind's already made up.
Yeah, for real.
Sorry, Obama. I'm a black man and I'm voting for Donald Trump for president. And there is no amount of lecturing or bullying or shaming that you can do that is going to make me change that decision. I am not afraid to vote for Kamala Harris because she is a woman. I refuse to vote for Kamala Harris because she has spent the last 4 years destroying this country. Maybe the surrogate black dad for a lot of fatherless black boys that are running around this country. But I got a dad. I know who he is, and it ain't you.
The nerve to look in the eyes of black men who are out here working their off, grinding, taking care of their families, mature, responsible men, spiritually mature men, handling their business. This man that is worth, some estimates say, of $75 million, has then the audacity to tell these same black men that it is unacceptable for you to vote any other way than what I tell you.
When you guys hear that, it seems I can already hear the feedback. Well, these are just a bunch of coons and clowns. How dare they have an opinion? Does any of that resonate, or are these just a bunch of complaining black men that want to be Republicans?
I wouldn't say that they want to be Republicans. They are Republicans.
Hey.
At least two of them for sure. I know they are Republicans. The buck-skinned guy, and then the light-skinned guy with the that had the AirPods on. I've seen him on a couple of sound bites and stuff like that. So Obama wasn't going to sway them either way anyway. They're black Republicans. So, but
Corey, is it fair to say that they don't have a reason to vote, and that something is probably wrong with them, and they don't connect with black culture? Or they don't connect with Kamala Harris's connection to black culture? Is it fair to just write those men off as being irrelevant?
No, not at all. And I also don't think that that's the angle that Obama was trying to take.
Do you think he gave any of those men grace for their decision?
No.
That's what I'm saying, man. He didn't give any of those men any grace. No. He said that he can't understand why they're doing it, and he said they don't have any good, valid reason for it.
Yeah, it's sad, man. Like, for me, like I said, I'm definitely independent, right? I vote for whoever I want to vote for every time. You know what I mean? Black, white, Democrat, Republican, women, and men. I voted for women in local elections. So what I want to say is that when I heard another speech Obama was doing, it was like, I don't think it was the same speech when he was in Pittsburgh. You know, it was like, hey, you know, you got to vote for Kamala, you got to vote for Casey, then you got to vote for every Democratic down the line. And I'm saying, I think that's why our country's in ruins, because a lot of people do that on both sides. I don't think, like, there's no way that every Democrat is good and every Republican is bad. There's just no way. But they try to teach us that we have to vote like that. I look at each person and each, you know what I mean, each thing, and I vote for the right person. If I'm a matter of fact, when I go vote, I'm gonna take a picture who I vote for, and you'll see I'm voting for the right person on each. In my opinion, some of them are Democrats, some are Republicans, some of them are independent, some of them I'm writing DEI hiring. You know what I mean? I'm voting for the right person each time that I believe. And that's what I think everyone should do. No one should just, if you go in there and just hit blue or just hit red, then something's wrong. And that's why our country is so messed up, because you think, okay, I like Harris. You know what I mean? I want to vote Harris. So Harris really might not even be the problem. The problem is the people that's underneath her. But if you just hit that blue button and you get all of them, it's same with Trump. You know what I mean? Trump might not be the problem. But if you hit that red button, then you're electing the problem people in there. You got to look at each individual and vote for the individual.
But that requires critical thinking.
Yeah, no, I agree.
A lot of people, not only do they not think critically, a lot of people don't think at all, right? There's a lot of lemmings going on both sides, right? Left and right. And they just follow what their leader says, and they just vote down ballot, right? All Democrat or all Republican. It takes a little bit, or not a little bit, it takes a lot of effort to actually look into your elections, your local elections, your state elections, the general elections, and understand what's on the ballot and who you're voting for and what those person's policies are. You have to actually put an effort and do the homework and understand. People don't have they have the mind capacity to do it, but it takes effort, and a lot of people are lazy.
And I think a lot of it has gotten personal. You know, I stay in the middle, but I am a conservative person. And I have heard from family members that if I'm not voting for Kamala Harris specifically, then I should be, I need to get in line with black women, is what I was told, if I had that inclination. And I was also told that my mother and my grandparents would be ashamed of me if I voted any other way but Democrat. And I'm like, man, that's a real stretch. And I keep coming back to that as a man of color, a black man. Is this the kind of pressure that we want to put on people? Do we want to shame them and say, you know, all facts are irrelevant? Your research is irrelevant. You're concerned that, hey, maybe the emperor doesn't have any clothes on. None of that matters. You need to just get in line like a lemming and do what everybody else is doing. And I just don't have the mindset for that. I'm gonna scrutinize what Donald Trump is doing. I think he's a blowhard. I think he's a megalomaniac. And I think he's got some serious character flaw issues. With Kamala Harris, I think that she has some issues too. And her policies really make me concerned a lot. So I'm like, can we have at least no conversation about it? You just need to vote blue, no matter who.
Blue, no matter who. Yeah, and like I said, man, that's
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I just want to ask a question real quick.
Sure.
Puncho, kind of what you were saying, you know, you're saying your parents would be ashamed of you if you vote for Kamala. You know, going back to that video where Obama was saying she went through HBCU, she knows, you know, she's been through the struggles we've been through. She's been through this. She's been a strong black woman. She's been standing behind, you know, you guys when you need her most. My question is, with all that, why does she not marry a black man?
Oh, Jimmy, now you trying to get us. Now you trying to get us canceled over here.
What do you mean by that?
I don't think that.
Us black men have to come over.
Right, let's go.
Men have to come. We're not good enough for her to choose.
Right.
Oh,
Come on, Punch. Now think about it. if you marry
We're
a
not
white
good. We're
woman,
not good enough.
right? If you marry a white woman, what your grandparents and your mom go say then, right? It's a problem then, but for her, I mean, because she's black. If she's
No, it's
black,
because, and I'll be honest here, DK. It's because she's a black woman. If a black
no.
man were to run for president and he had a white wife, good luck, brother. We already know you're a Republican. Good luck. But if a black woman does it, black woman, and this is me being a little bit frustrated with some things, but if a black woman marries out of her race, she's doing good. She leveled up. She found somebody outside of her race. So for them, that's all good. But rules for thee, but not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there is a difference. So Jimmy, I think you're right. If she were really a black person and she loved the black experience, why is she married to a Jewish man, divorced Jewish man? I don't care. But the thing that makes me concerned is this is what President Obama is saying makes her relevant to us. This is what she used to say made her relevant to black people.
Exactly.
And that's the only reason why. So I'm supposed to turn my brain off and not look at this stuff, but I'm going to research. And again, when I found out she's making collard greens in bathtubs and adding, red hot sauce to it, I know she ain't black. Ain't no black person doing that. Nobody's black mom taught them to do that. At most, you might put it in a washing machine. I've heard of that. But so we look at all this stuff and in these gaps that she's making with the black experience, and that's fine. But don't say that you're black, but you don't understand black culture. Who puts Megan Thee Stallion on a campaign, fundraiser? To me, that's embarrassing and it's insulting. To me, as an upstanding person. And I'm not going to say all, but most black Americans were insulted by that too, even a lot of Democrats. So that's something you do when you see black culture as a caricature, So that's one of my biggest issues with her is the chameleon. I wouldn't say she's a counterfeit. A counterfeit is something that's made like that. They don't even know that they're fake. But a chameleon knows that they're blending in with everything else. So I think that she's a chameleon, and I think that she knows that she's a chameleon. And
she don't care.
I think that she cares if it gets her votes. Because she started running initially as an Indian American when she was in California. But as soon as she realized black women were the backbone of the Democratic Party, let me be black because I went to a black sorority.
Yeah, and like I said, my issue with her starts even from when she was running for president. You know what I mean? The first time, right? And she doesn't. She's the first one to drop out, right? First one to drop out, almost doesn't get any. Doesn't win any states. You know what I mean? Just nobody wanted her. The Democratic Party didn't want her as president.
It was more to it than that. It was
not
only did they not.
She didn't get the votes.
She struggled with that, but her biggest issue was, and she's had the same problem as vice president. Most of her staff quit, so she kind of lost her legs because her staff complained, and a lot of them quit during her presidential bid, and she's had 90% turnover in her vice presidential team. That's pretty. I think she has a hard time dealing with people, and I think that's the bigger issue.
Yeah, well, then we'll go back to what I said from the beginning.
Here's the sad thing, though.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to her being considered for the presidency, was anybody actually really talking about her race, her being black, considered black, Indian? Like, was it an actual topic of conversation?
It became a topic by default because
she made it a topic. She made it a topic.
Well, no, she didn't.
No, she didn't. It was President Biden that said specifically that he will have his vice presidential candidate will be a black woman, not a competent person. He just said it will be a black woman.
Yeah, I'm not saying her as vice president, but as running for president, she did make it a big deal that she was black. To me, I felt like she made it a big deal that she was black.
It didn't become an issue. It didn't become an issue until she was pushed or.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
She was pushed by the Democratic Party to be the nominee, and then Donald Trump raised the question of whether she was black or Indian.
Actually, Donald Trump didn't raise the question. I watched the entire interview he did with the National Association of Black Journalists. The black journalist female asked him, do you think Kamala Harris is black? And he said that, well, she became black. Donald Trump did not initiate. And see, I don't want to defend Trump, but this is the truth when you start actually researching this stuff. I watched the interview, and the journalist said, do you think she's black? And he said, well, it seems like she became black because she was an Indian first. And I'm not kidding you, I watched it all. That was a pretty hot interview. You know, they kind of gotten under his skin. I watched the pundits later on that day. Donald Trump said that she's not black, and he started this conversation. I'm like, well, hold on, I didn't see that. But we know that's not the first, nor will it be the last time that the press has a hard time with facts and being fair. I mean, even with the ABC moderators during the debate, it come to find out there was a whistleblower that said that they gave Kamala Harris some of the questions, and they promised to not fact check her. What is going on? Now, I'm not a Trump fan, but I'm a fan of democracy. The vast majority of people on this panel, we fought for democracy. We fought for freedom in this country. And, and one of the main pillars. Hold on, I'm on my.
No.
I've already bookmarked this topic, DK.
No, all of us. No, I'm just saying all of us have fought for this country.
That's all of us on this panel have fought for this country. And one of the major estates of the United States government is the press. And we've had 2 debates in a row where the press has acknowledged and admitted that they have put their fingers on the balance of democracy towards one candidate. What is going on here? Why is it when I watch the actual interview, and not just the one with the National Association of Black Journalists, any interview, it's a totally different story when the press gets it. And I think that because we have different sources of media, which are dangerous, as an analyst, I know they're dangerous, but you kind of gotta sift through the garbage a little bit to find a couple of gold nuggets. And we shouldn't have to do that as Americans. We should be able to have media that's unbiased and gives us the information without coloring it. But that's exactly what's happening. So I'm really concerned about that. And am I the only one? I'm gonna pass it to you guys. Have you found lies in the media, or have they been playing it down the middle for you all?
You got
it, Corey.
Yeah, there's you've got your right wing media, and you've got your left wing media. I believe down the middle is not even in America. It's like Al Jazeera or something like that.
Well, they're biased, but you got NPR, you got the Christian Science Monitor, you got I think Newsmax, maybe something.
Newsmax is
not Newsmax, but
Newsmax definitely.
It's another one. But nonetheless, there are a few, down the middle. But it all started after 9/11 with Bill O'Reilly, where Fox News realized, wow, if a person has an opinion with the news, they can make a lot of money. And then CNN was like, this is crazy. We can't do that. But then all of a sudden they're hiring Anderson Coopers and they're hiring Don Lemons, and everything just changed. Everything just changed. So we can't even get clear media. And like I said, as an analyst, that's very troubling, because at this point, see, Donald Trump would say that it's election interference. He put out a tweet and said that they're interfering with the election. And Corey, you're kind of in the middle of all this. Do you think that the people that are moderators in the news giving us not all the information, and I'll be honest, mostly for Kamala Harris, do you think that affects Black men, and do you think that it's election interference?
Man, that's a tough one. It's tough because they fact checked Donald Trump, right? So I don't think that's election interference. But the fact
the rules of the debate were the candidate is supposed to do the fact checking, not the moderators. That was the rule. That's what they agreed to.
It's fair on both sides. If you're going to fact check Donald Trump, right, because he lied about a lot of stuff.
They didn't fact check Kamala Harris once, and she lied too.
They didn't fact her one time.
It should have been on both sides. If you're going to fact check both of them.
No, but the problem was that the rule was no fact checking. So I don't think they should have fact checked either one of them, because that was the rule. That's what both parties agreed to.
Now, when they did the VP debate, there was no fact checking at all.
There was fact checking. J.D. Vance called him out. He said you're not supposed to be fact checking, and they were.
And they agreed to none there, but they were only doing J.D. But he called him out. He called him out good too, and he started talking over.
Hey, so look.
Yeah, you good. You got it.
Mm-hmm. You have some, J-Hope?
I guess you could look at it as election interference if you're fact checking one side of the story and you're not fact checking the other side. But then again, the candidate shouldn't be lying.
Well, is everything a lie? You know, some of the stuff Donald Trump was saying was out of pure fantasy land. I give you that.
Right.
And some of the things that Kamala Harris were bold-faced lies. Like she was lying about fracking. She said that she was totally against fracking and now she's for it. No pushback, no fact checking at all. She kept perpetrating the myth that Donald Trump has said that there's good people on both sides, and and I'm not a fan, but it's like that's been debunked so many times, and we just know that all you got to do is play 20 more seconds of the speech. But that's a main talking point of both her and Joe Biden. Now, if he's racist, just find something else he's racist about. Let's just find something he's truly racist about, you know. But don't keep pushing things that we know have been fact checked by liberal media to be untrue on the part of what the Democrats are saying about him. I don't need anybody. If Donald Trump is such a villain, and in many cases he can be, just let the truth speak for you. You don't have to suppress democracy to let someone who's doing evil win. I'm sorry, evil lose. We don't need you to put your finger on the scale. I want my news uncolored and preferably unfiltered. But it's very difficult to get information. And that's not what we put all this time in the military for. You know, imagine all this and we have a leader put in by the media and we got to sit there and deploy because of this foolishness or pull a 12-hour shift because of a bad decision that they've made. That really that affects morale, you know? I remember there was plenty of times where I was mad because I'm answering stupid questions from senators because of something Donald Trump said, you know? But I want a person in there that's supposed to be there, and I don't need the media helping them.
So with the media, right, which is the main source of where the vast majority of the population is just getting any information.
Not anymore. The vast majority of the population is getting their media from comedy shows and talk shows. They're not even getting it from the media anymore. ABC News, after that debate, had to lay off like 70 people that were pretty much fired, and their ratings have been in the tank. CNN has had some of the lowest ratings in recent history, probably going back since the Trump administration. They can't keep people on their shows. People are more likely to watch Joe Rogan and shows like that to get their media than they are to watch mainstream media, because there's been situation after situation ebbing at the veracity of American media on both sides, but primarily the left.
That boy is good.
And it's kind of gotten to a point where I think it's affecting black men. Now, this is where we need improvement, and where this is screwing us up as black men. Black men have a very large appetite for conspiracy. And the mainstream media is supposed to give it to us straight. But as black men start to see that there is more conspiracy and that the news cannot be trusted, then they're going to crazy news sources and getting their information, like us.
Yeah.
So that's a problem, and that may be something that the Democrats are doing to themselves, because they're creating an environment where the media can't be trusted, and black men are going to alternative sources to get their media. And you know, one major place they're going that the black lady said in the clip earlier, she alluded to, and also President Obama, they're going to the manosphere. They're going to this underground gray network.
Describe the manosphere for us.
The manosphere is basically a place where men exchange ideas on how to do life, and it's a fraternity. And if you look at most of the manosphere podcasts, this podcast phenomena that we have now, even black men are a part of it. It's gotten to a point where they're getting their news from that now, because the media cannot be trusted. Now, are these manosphere people, you know, political experts like myself and people on this panel? Have they spent, you know, decades in the military and being political analysts like me? No, but it doesn't matter, right? As long as they're getting a source of something that either makes them feel good or has even some truth to it, it's swayable. And when Barack Obama said, men need to stop being misogynistic and feeling like it gives them power over women to put them down, he's taking a truncated version of what people say about the manosphere and saying that and we've heard it before in previous elections, you know, it's the manosphere that's confusing these black men into voting a certain way, confusing men in general, confusing us. Yeah. This conversation is a product of confusion, gentlemen.
Hey, real quick, I
Teaching the slaves
how to be slaves. I get you. You know,
No,
I
I
mean,
say teaching.
I told you. No, but real quick, I was thinking, especially when it comes to black men, right, and older black men, and this is probably the biggest issue that I have. And no, that's the biggest issue I have. I'm not even gonna go to the real young one. Yeah, the biggest issue. And I mean, I think we have been, programmed. Not me, but people who's older than us have been programmed from day one that you gotta vote blue no matter who, right? Period. You know what I mean? And no matter what you say, I mean, you can give facts. You can show them the truth. I tell them, hey, the Democrat Party, and maybe the party just changed. Some people go through that. Democratic Party is the one who was fighting for slavery. You know what I mean? And they were nah, impossible. I said, hey, they helped. They started most of the Jim Crow laws. Nah, they was lynching. Nah, they were. Oh, Lyndon Johnson said, oh, we'll have these ninjas voting for us for the next 200 years. We pass it. Nah, that ain't.
Well,
No
Lyndon
matter.
Johnson was a Republican, DK. Be careful.
No. But what I'm saying is, I know he. But what I'm saying is, but the truth is, I'm saying the truth is the truth. You know what I mean? Well, I didn't actually.
Well, Lyndon Johnson got most of his resistance for the Civil Rights Act from Democrats who didn't want to vote for it.
Right. But I'm saying,
That
but
is
he was pushed to do this. But my point is saying is, like, so now when we fast forward, we talk about the media, right? And I think about a lot of older black men that I talked to, like, Trump, he ain't really get shot. That was staged. It was fake. You know what I mean? Like, and they honestly believe this. They believe there's no way that happened. And that's just a programming of what, you know what I mean? That's the programming of the media. You know what I mean? And maybe not even the mainstream media, but they somehow, some way, I'm trying to, they'll argue me day and night that he didn't get shot, that was staged, that it was fake, that the people who died, the guy who died, that he ain't really died, he wasn't a real person. I'm like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? You see him carrying off all bloody. Oh nah, that was fake blood, like they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like,
I heard that.
And no matter what you say, that's how it is. And to me, I'm like, something is wrong. You know what I mean? He back there just yelling. There's fake news that he got shot. Fake news.
The person in your room is yelling.
Yeah, fake news.
DK, I run into the same thing, DK, and it's frustrating. But hey,
yeah. And real quick, No, I want to pass it to you because me and
you sure you want to do that?
Yeah, me and Jay Hoff talk about this all the time, right? And this is the thing, right? That the same people who will call us when it's trouble, who will call us for advice, who will call when anything else, they'll trust us, they'll believe us, we'll pray with them, we'll talk with them, and we all in agreement until you say something. You hear in the back when it comes to Trump or come to Harris, and I'm like, I'm not even trying to sway you on how to vote. I'm just trying to sway you to look at the whole picture. Don't just do something because you always been doing it. We've been sinning all our life. We've been sinning all our life, right? We've been sinning all our life, but it ain't okay just to keep sinning. You know what I mean? We want to do better. You know what I mean? And that's what we try to do.
So did you guys? So did you get a chance to give him some Benadryl or something, DK? I'll take it for a second. But do y'all think that it's coming to a point where upwardly mobile black men may have to divest from the black community because it's just cooked?
In a way, I feel like they probably already have.
Well, you look at the people who are voting for Donald Trump, 8% first election. Now we're looking at 22%. At some point, we can't just call every black man a sellout when 25% of them are voting for this man. I think what's happening is black men and men in general are going through an awakening, and it's turning into a situation where they are beginning to divest from their communities and they're divesting from the black, quote unquote, black experience because it may not be for them. Is that a good thing? And you guys online, leave a comment. What do you think about this? We could be totally in, another world with these thoughts. But being on this forum now for 2 or 3 years, we've been talking about this stuff. And the conclusion I'm getting to, I really think that black men and men in general, but especially black men, they're checking out of society. And if they're voting for Trump because they believe in his policies and they don't have a connection with the black community more, or they're voting for Trump to watch the system burn and they're giving him the lighter to do it in the gas fluid. What am I missing, guys?
Not missing anything. For the first time, like you said, watch the system burn, like something different. We got to change it. Throw a wrench in the works.
That's crazy. I do remember talking to one of my coworkers. You know him too, Corey. And I'm like, why are you voting for Trump? And he was like, man, neither one of these candidates care about us, but at least Trump is going to burn the system up. I'm like, what?
Mm-hmm.
Now, is every vote a hate vote? No. A lot of people have logical reasons why they feel they should vote for this man. But at the same time, I think that the conclusion for both these groups of men that are comprising this 22 to 24% of black men voting for him this election, which is a large amount, is that's also a vote against the black community as we know it today, which has become a bastion for feminism, debauchery, and ridiculous foolishness.
Well,
walk me off the ledge,
on
guys.
a couple of those points. Well, look, I got a couple points on a few of those things. So DK mentioned, the divide with the older, especially older black men, where we see that divide maybe, I don't know, age 50, stuck on the Democrat thing. And it seems like younger men, we're kind of starting to think a little bit and making a little bit of a change, like you mentioned, Puncho. But with that, we know black women, all ages, are going to be Democrat. Some of the younger black women are kind of waking up a little bit and seeing things a little differently.
Oh, Jimmy, you said the BW word.
Are you about to engage in blasphemy?
He did today. He kind of further alienated us. It kind of put us out on the island. Like we keep getting pointed at, like black men, like it's all on us, and so that I don't think that helped the cause in any way. A few other things I wanted to touch on. I just wanted to fact check real quick. Lyndon B. Johnson was a Democrat.
Oh, he was a Democrat
under John F. Kennedy, who was
I
a
was
Democrat.
pretty sure. Yeah,
that was a split ticket.
So
you threw me off. That was Lincoln. That was a split ticket.
That boy is good.
And how the media can influence how we look at things and whatnot. There's a very fascinating video, 60 Minutes, of Kamala. And she was asked about the border, and she went on for 2 minutes doing her thing, just talking in circles. And they edited that thing down. And when you look at the edit, you're like, together, they look great, and it's like, you can't do things like that. You need to let people see what it really is. Like, show me what it is. Let me make a decision. Don't dress it up and make it pretty. Don't shine that turd up and just see the original thing. Let me, I don't want to be served something on a platter. And that's just a perfect example. That just happened a day or two ago.
Yeah, I saw that. That was very. Now, in 60 Minutes' defense, they say that they do that because of sponsors and they need to cut to the meat of the interview. But do you think they would have gave
I get that.
the competition that kind of a positive cut?
But you can't change the whole context of a conversation doing it. They're journalists. Come on, this is what they go to school for. They know what they're doing. This is pure manipulation. You can't change the context of a conversation. People that go to school for 4 years to learn editing. I've never went to school to learn editing. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I did see that clip, and she spoke for about a minute and a half. Not a very succinct answer, and that was the unedited version. and then the edited version, she replied, and it was like a maybe an 8-second reply. I'm like, wow, that was an alley oop. Okay.
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
There we go. So, all right, guys, I think we're starting to sunset here. Anybody else want to add something? And I think this whole conversation.
I think DEI hire was trying to chime in a couple seconds ago.
Go ahead, boss.
No, I just want to kick this horse one more time. I am going to play a sport. I want my team to win. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to make that team win. Whether that's take the referee out the night before for dinner, change the rules. Because if my player's not performing, obviously Kamala's not. I need to change the rules. I need to put substitute coaches. That's President Obama. And I don't think they're doing anything wrong. I think they're just playing the game, the best game they can with what they got.
Yeah.
I don't buy that.
Nah, actually, I do. That's the crazy part.
Hold on. Who are the players on the team? If
You're
that's
coming
the
in a little
case,
bit
who
low,
are the
Jayhawk.
players-
You might need to get closer to your microphone.
I said, who are the players on the team? If we're talking about a game, who are the players on the team?
And I think that's part of the game itself. We'll never know. I think there's people in high places with a lot of money just playing this silly game with us. See how they can motivate.
Well, man, are you
population.
saying it
But that's just me,
CNBC,
conspiracy theory. But
Kamala versus Trump and Fox? Like what? Like
Absolutely, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Is that
absolutely.
what it is?
Yeah.
Well, if you look at it like that,
Look at their
it's very
platforms and
lopsided then.
look at their platforms and look at the narratives that they push on each side. You could perfect
Yeah, but what I'm
example.
saying is it.
So perfect example, right?
But
We
it's
just
very
had,
lopsided.
the hurricanes that hit, right? Now that should be a clear as day story. Hurricane hit, tore up the North Carolina and Florida, and you got a whole bunch of people that are hurting for everything. You tune into Fox News, you get a totally different story than what you would get if you tune into CNN.
What is the story you're seeing?
On Fox News, you get the story about Trump talking about how FEMA doesn't have any money and people are only getting $750. And if you go over to CNN, FEMA has had to go out on their own webpage and tell the public that it's a lie. FEMA does have money, and the $750 payment is the initial payment that they're giving the people so that they can have money to buy supplies, food, shelter. That's just an initial payment. Then you come back and you get more money to help rebuild yourself. But that narrative isn't being pushed.
The director of FEMA,
right?
The director EMA said
the director of FEMA had to come out and clear up the story.
Said they
and then
do
they,
not
had to
have
push, then they had to push it on their own webpage to say, "Hey, this is a lie. We're not out of money. If you need help, apply for it, and you'll get it."
No, he said they were out of money.
No, you're talking about Mayorkas. You're talking about Homeland Security. I'm talking about the director of FEMA. Because FEMA falls under
FEMA under Homeland Security.
Right. So FEMA is under DHS. The director of DHS said that FEMA doesn't have money. FEMA director had to come out and said, "We do have money. Stop listening to the lies. Come out and
who's lying? Who's lying?
But isn't DHS a political appointee?
Is it? I don't know. Okay, I can't.
Either way, it ain't good.
Wait a
for
second. If someone from the government is saying that a government agency doesn't have money, who's lying?
That's what I'm saying. So on Fox, this is a perfect example, right? It should be clear as day.
All right, I got it right here, y'all. I got it right here. Let's see what they say.
You got it?
There we go. Let's see what's said here.
Disaster relief falsehood. Disaster relief funds used on immigrants illegally in the U.S. The fact is, no money is being diverted from response needs. Disaster.
All right, that's her response, and this is what Mayorkas said. So for what it is, that's what we got. You know,
Right.
they need to get themselves together because you see that plaque in the back of him. It says White House.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody needs to be on the same accord under the same house. A house divided cannot stand. If FEMA got money, well, hold on. Mayorkas is the head of the DHS, which I believe has a strong political appointee vibe to it. And FEMA is under him. He knows FEMA's budget better than FEMA does. Either way, if FEMA does have money, then they look stupid by having two people, by having the leader of the administration saying that, you know, the money probably ain't where it need to be. And I even seen a clip where Joe Biden said, we don't have the money right now, you know? So I've also seen clips. I don't know how can't verify them, so I'm not going to put any credence to it, where people have said, I've applied for FEMA support and I can't get it. I didn't get it. I didn't get approved.
But then you have clips of the governors of the 2 states or the 3 or 4 states that have been affected.
Relief.
Yeah,
they're getting all the support and everything that they need. But then if you tune into another news source, they're saying that the government is not there and these people are fending for themselves. And, you know,
there are videos of the people. There are videos of people who are standing next to their houses they're destroyed saying, I haven't seen FEMA yet. I don't.
Right. And I've seen
a person on YouTube. If there's a person on YouTube video saying, I have not seen FEMA, it's 5 days since the flood. I have not seen FEMA.
But then the governor of that state is saying that I've received everything that I've asked for from FEMA, and FEMA is on the ground.
I'm not listening to the governor. I'm not listening to the governor. He's a politician. If a person on the ground is saying, I have not seen the, I don't care what.
So is FEMA there or not? Right? That's I guess that becomes the question, right? So the governor is lying to their own people and saying, like,
so FEMA regional administrators have been meeting with city officials on site to coordinate.
Yeah. Either way, we need to help our people. And see, we wouldn't be having this conversation if we didn't let the illegal immigration thing get beyond us. You know, that's an issue that I think is going to be a major problem for the Kamala and Walt's team. Is she says she's tough on, you know, crime, and she's fought international and transnational criminals. Why did you let them across the border, Kamala? I'm sorry. That's just, as a person who's doesn't have a political affiliation, that's a registered voter, that makes me a little bit upset. And personally, for those migrants that have come here legally, like the ones in Haiti, I'll go over there. I'll volunteer in soup kitchens and help those folks out any day of the time. One of my people in my church support the Haitian refugees that are here legally, and I'm right there with them, you know. But my heart does not feel the same way about somebody coming here illegally and not going through that same process. That just boggles my mind. And we don't know who these people are. We know typically we know who the people are who are refugees and legal migrants. 10 to 15 million. Like I said before, guys, that's the entire population of the Dominican Republic. An entire island being dropped into like 4 cities, or not more than 4 cities, all over the country. Giving them, come on, man, something's wrong with that. And she has to get in front of that and not just say she's tough on crime. If you were tough on crime, you would have taken care of that. And so now the conversation, the people who have the authority in the conversation is a Donald Trump in a Vance, who can just take that talking point and walk it all day. You know, Trump even said he wanted to create a wall, and Mexico's going to pay for it. All a bunch of, you know, ridiculous foolishness, but it's sounding good now. You know, it's sounding good now. Don't make it sound good. Just do what you got to do, man. Get it together. I don't know, guys. Y'all ready to wrap it up? Y'all getting tired on me.
Oh, man. You just keep muting me, so I don't get a chance.
I didn't mute you.
Nah, I'm not doing that. No, a great conversation though. You know what I mean? I think it needs to be had. I just wish. Thank you, Corey. You know what I mean, for joining us. I know Puncho's independent, but the thing is, I don't care who you vote for. Just vote for who you want to. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to vote for Kamala, please vote for her. If you want to vote for Trump, please vote for him. Whoever you want to vote for, just vote for him because that's who you want to vote for. Don't let nobody sway you or whatever. Whatever is in your heart, you do what you want to do. That's all I'm saying.
Well, what's happening, DK, is men are not able to get their media from a traditional media source. And it's causing a situation where they're going to alternate forms of media. They're congregating. They're having conversations they're not allowed to have, especially when it comes to the world or the Western world decentering men from society. And men are frustrated about that. So then when when a woman is asking for men to vote for her, no matter what color they are, there's going to be pushback. What are you doing to help me be a man in this current country? What are you doing to help me be a father? What are you doing to help me have a strong family? And a lot of men aren't going to get that answer from a certain political party. And I think that's where the frustration from where Barack Obama is coming from. But they're not really looking at the true problem, that men feel disenfranchised. Our purpose here is to get men out of the clearance aisle of life. And it's going to take policy to do that also. But I don't think that Kamala Harris or Barack Obama really care about what men are going through. They're married people and they don't care about that kind of stuff. As a matter of fact, it goes against their policies to care about what men's concerns are. It's the patriarchy. We should be doing good no matter what. So that's the frustration. And I think we're caught at the business end of that weapon, and it's going to continue to get worse. And they're going to have to talk about this problem, because you can't just sit there and browbeat and yell at black men and make them change their mind. Any thoughts on that? You're muted, DK. Go ahead.
Nah, I said you're right with that. You're right with that. That's all I wanted to say. Yeah.
All right. I can pray it out real quick if you like.
Yeah. J Hawk, DI Hire, Corey. Any y'all have anything to add before we pray it out?
Nothing heard.
All good. Thank you.
Hey, I'd just like to say, man, like you said, DK, I think I trend more to the middle myself, and I just appreciate that we got to just everybody be able to express their views respectfully, and hopefully we all learn something today. Whether it's something small or something big, but hopefully, it's just nice to be able to have a good conversation.
Well, like I said, a lot of folks don't even want us to have this conversation. There was a clip in that CNN clip where one of the women on the panel said it's not even something that men should be concerned about. This election is about women. I'm like, what? What do you mean by that? I can pull the clip up, but she literally came out and said that this election is about women. Why do we care what black men have to say? What?
Yep.
Now you want to extend the thing. Go ahead, pull it up. You was about to pray. You about to pray. Now we're gonna extend it.
It was bad.
Give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair.
Let me turn the music off then.
Oh man, sorry guys. We thought we were ending, but hey, Punch just brought something up that I didn't hear, and I need to hear this. I need to see this.
What's this double overtime?
Yeah. Hold on, Punch. You know what we gotta do? Oh, I got it. I got it this time. But I gotta play it.
You gotta play it twice? All right, this is the clip where she says that they're talking about black men being talked about and browbeat. And she says, what are y'all talking about, black men? This is about women. The very opposite of what I just said needs to happen.
May not like that. We have to respect it. So unless President Barack Obama is going to go out and lecture every other group of men from other identity groups, my message for Democrats is don't bring it here to black men who, by and large, don't vote much differently from black women. And as a politician, we should be trying to get all voters to vote. And hopefully there are a few good men out there who do care about the stripping away of some of women's bodily autonomy. But this is wrong for President Obama. It is a wrong course for the Harris-Walz campaign to lay at the feet of Black men when they have their reasons. In 2020, the vice president was labeled a cop, as we know.
But do you think, sorry to
Oh,
interrupt
did
you,
I
Nina,
miss
but
it?
do you think
Let's pull
he's
it back.
right
Here it is, right here.
that message?
Let me ask you a question, Abby and Nina. Let me say, I find it very interesting that we're trying to reach out to white men. We're trying to reach out to Black men. The people whose rights are really on the ballot right now are women. And we're
The people whose rights that are on the ballot are women. She's saying, we don't care about what y'all Black men talk about. We don't care what y'all white men talk about. It's enough of the patriarchy. Exactly what I just said. Enough of this patriarchy stuff. We need to focus on women exclusively. She's confused as to why Black men are even a part of the conversation. The reason why men have such a severe backlash in the Democratic Party is because men have been, Black men especially, have been decentralized from social life. Some of it by our own doing, but more of it by society itself, especially with this feminist movement that we're seeing. And Black women have taken the pill of this feminist movement also. So it doesn't give this, and I don't want to bring race into this, but this young lady, this white lady, she has no problem whatsoever saying, forget the Black man. It's about us women. And when men hear that, they're saying only one political party cares about us. And it ain't Kamala Harris and the LGBTQIA plus team over there. They're for their families. They're not for our families. What else does she say?
begging all these men to pay attention to us and to care enough about this election, to vote, to come out, to support us. I feel like Barack going on the campaign trail right now makes perfect sense. Of course, right? He's a top surrogate for Democrats. He should be out.
This woman's out of touch, guys.
They're doing the work right now. I think it's so amazing to me that with women's rights on the line, we're spending so much time focusing on making sure men care.
Because
she want to say making sure black men care. We shouldn't spend any time making sure black men care. We can take their vote for granted. And if they don't get in line with black women, then they're going to catch it on the other end from them anyway. Black women are the backbone of the Democratic Party, not black men. We shouldn't care what they have to say. And thank God, even on CNN, they pushed back on what she said and was like, okay, black men do matter a little bit, not a lot, just a little.
I don't know. It's because men are the problem
Men
right now
should
for
care.
Kamala Harris.
I mean, women.
And by the way, Governor Walz, according to Politico, is going to be going out on a mentor, literally a tour of media to appeal to men.
They need to appeal to the needs of the voters. And so when I was
and we picked up on that. She's a Democratic analyst for, Barack Obama and all this. And she's also elected official in Ohio. And she tries to walk back what the lady says. Let's listen.
Delegate for President Obama in both of his elections in Ohio. Right now, the vice president is down 11 points in Ohio, even though I fully expect President Trump to take Ohio as he did twice, but to be down 11 points compared to President Biden, that is a problem. But this other issue I want to bring up is a problem too. Why are black men being lectured to? Why are black men being belittled in ways that
and ignored on the very panel you're speaking on?
No other voting group. Now, a lot of love for former President Obama, but for him to single out black men is wrong. And some of the black men that I have talked to have their reasons why they want to vote a different way. And even if some of us may not like that, we have to respect it. So unless President Barack Obama is going to go out and lecture every other group of men from other identity groups, my message for Democrats is don't bring it here to black men who, by and large, don't vote much differently from black women. And
give me 2 claps.
As a politician, we should be trying to get all voters to vote. And hopefully there are a few good men out there who
give
do
me
care
2 claps
about the
and a
stripping
red
away of some of
I was absolutely stunned when I heard her say that. Like, you're having a conversation about how black men are being run over and disregarded and potentially talked down to, that what they're saying and what they feel as far as how they're voting doesn't matter by a former sitting president. And the young lady's response was, who cares about what men think? They're only 50% or 48% of the population. Who cares? This is about women. What happened to us, guys? Have we decentralized and we put men in the clearance aisle for so long that we can't even care about men? We can't care about black men? How they vote is irrelevant? Have I lost my mind, DK? You're muted, bro. Still muted. Okay, I got you. Go ahead.
Yeah, stop muting me.
You got somebody in the background heckling you.
Oh yeah, he's still talking. I don't know what he's talking about no more. But anyways, but to be honest, man, yeah, it's ignorant. It's just ignorant. You know what I mean? As men, you know what I mean? We just, like you said, what is it, 49? Basically 50%. We about even, right? Even with our women counterparts, and our vote doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we think. It doesn't matter who we should vote for or why we should vote. Matter of fact, just don't vote. Just let us be the people who just let them be the people who decide, because it's all about women's rights. And I'm like, man, and I keep going through this, and we talk about deletion, right? Deletion,
Child deletion, yeah,
child deletion, right? That it's not. Is it just about the woman? You know what I mean? Is it not? Yes, she's carrying it, but the man has a responsibility. The man has the issues, and a lot of times the man is in the decision. I had a talk with my younger cousin today, and he was saying, to be honest, a lot of the men influence the women to get a child deletion. You know what I mean? And a lot of the men pay for it, right?
Ain't no man forcing any woman to get an abortion in this country.
No, not forcing, but what I'm saying, suggesting it.
They're getting into an agreement to have an abortion.
Yeah.
Forcing a woman to have an abortion is illegal. And we got to quit infantilizing women to make them think that nothing is their fault. Women sometimes, in very rare instances, need abortions. That's 2% of abortions are because of rape, incest, and life and limb of the mother at risk. 2%. The other 98% or so, you had too much fun at the foam party. You was kicking it too much at whatever festival you was at. You got pregnant by John Travius, and now you want to just kill your baby because you were irresponsible. That's not how we can run a society. When you average out the amount of abortion, those things that have happened with the children, over the decades, it's like the same population of Miami. We've hand over fist. When we stand before God, that's going to be one of the main things that we're known for. Oh, this was the generation that took out so many of the babies.
Yeah,
it's wild, dude.
But not just that. But when we talk about the black community, that's where it's affecting the most. This is the most dangerous place for a black man is in the mother's womb.
Yeah.
Yo. So we looked at the stats today, right? The stats are, so we know as black people in America that we're a minority, and not even a major minority, I don't think now. But we are what was the percent?
13% last I checked.
No. 48% of abortions.
Oh yeah.
Are 48% of child deletions are from
black
us.
Men. Yeah, 1 out of 3.
Right. So when you think about that number, and if you think about where all the plant whatever
Planned
what is it called? Yeah, where they at? When I go across the river, you know what I mean, to the other side, ain't nothing there.
No facilities for having those procedures done.
You know where they at? They down the street. You know what I mean? When you go to your city, then go to the outskirts of the city. They're not there because you know why? Because they want to kill us off.
You think they still do?
What? Do I still? What? What do you mean? Think about it.
Why would a political candidate make that a cornerstone of her political campaign. Even what this woman was just saying, it's about allowing us to kill more of our offspring. That's what this election is about.
Yeah.
Why would she make that the cornerstone of her offspring and also put on the face of the black community to do that? Why would they do that?
Think about it. How do you defeat a nation? You kill them within. You kill them within. So to be honest,
how do they make money doing that? Because it's all about money. Anybody can chime in on this on the panel.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've been going too much. Anybody else want to jump in?
How do they make money off of this? I know Planned Parenthood funds their campaigns, is one of the major donors for liberal political parties, but I don't know how they're making so much money doing this to a point where she's the front running candidate, and that's one of her primary points is deleting babies and gender-free rights. I don't understand how this happens. Nobody knows why it happens.
Because I don't think it has anything to do with the money. I don't think you're asking how they make so much money. I don't know what the intention is, but I don't think it's money. For once, they always say follow the money. For once, I don't think we're following the money for this one.
You think it's just a sinister evil behind it? Because we have Christian people, Christian brothers and sisters that don't even care about this happening with this policy. And I get it. You don't want to vote for Trump, but they've done this with multiple candidates. They don't even care that this is what they're promoting.
But what have we talked about for the last hour? We talked about how the media can manipulate and control what people think. So if you hear something so often, you hear something so many times, eventually you're going to start to believe it. So people, think about all the different things we question. So to question this, is it really that crazy to question why people think a certain way?
Well, even this woman on the panel here.
Punch. Think about this. Yo, shootout in the city, right? Not a big deal. Probably make the news for a day. Shootout in the suburbs, shootout across the river. Man, it's a story for weeks. You know what I mean? Think about it. They don't care that we get rid of us by any means necessary. They just want us gone. Think about it.
Well,
Jimmy knows. Jimmy knows when you was working for the city, when something happened in the city and people got shot, right? People got killed. They just get over it. If somebody gets shot on the outskirts, it's a big deal. But in the city, hey, that's normal. They killing us, it's normal. It's okay.
You sound like the Joker when he's like they kill a politician and everybody goes crazy, but they kill a soldier, then it's all a part of the plan.
Do I really look like a guy with a plan?
And like I said, this young lady here, she's like, why are we even talking about men? We need to be talking more about child deletions. God forgive me. But this is wild. She's like, forget about the black man. Why are we having a conversation about these people? Forget men, period. It's all about the women and them having the right. How did she get the bonus to even say that, man? Anyway, we got to pray. We got to pray, man.
Yeah. Let's pray, man.
All right. Father, we thank you again for letting us have an opportunity just to share these opinions and just let all men know that you're allowed to participate in political debate. You're allowed to have different opinions. Even though men and even black men may not be valued by society, Father, you still value us. You still want us to be providers, protectors, problem solvers, prophets, and priests. This is your main objective for us. And irregardless of what CNN says, President Obama says, Kamala Harris says, Donald Trump, or anybody in between, you still have a plan for every man on the earth. And you want us to be successful. Give us the opportunity to let this message help those men to know that they do matter in this conversation, that their opinion isn't always something that's frivolous. And we pray that you build the self-esteem of your men and you surround them with women who have like minds. We pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. Man, I got heavy at the end, man. I don't know what. It was all Jimmy's idea.
What I do? The second overtime.
Well, I think we beat that one pretty hard, guys. If you're watching, leave a like. Leave a like. Share the video with somebody. Nobody's talking about this kind of stuff from a Christian men's perspective. And as you come to realize that we are in the clearance aisle of life, and they really don't care. And don't be black in the Christian man. It's even worse. So that being the case, we appreciate you coming out, and we will catch you later.